for another community-produced program here on Oshkosh Channel 10.
Hello, Packer fans. Welcome to Packer Talk with Green Show this week. Thank you to my sponsors over Ratchet's Pizza, corner of Merritt and Bowen, Audio Plus on Kohler Road, and the new sponsor bottling, Coca-Cola Bottling on Main Street on Oshkosh here. My special guest, Ed Lowe, editor of the Winnebago Mirror. We're going to talk about a very interesting game in Tampa Bay. We had with Tampa Bay Sunday at Lambeau Field. But first, Ed, we'll look at the tote board. I round. He says I don't round. I'm rounding the stats off over here. I always round them off at 30 minutes apiece, approximately.
Approximately.
24 first downs. They had 14. We had 300 total yards. They had 200. Antonio's arm is broke. We don't know how bad it is yet. Maybe he can come back in 3 weeks with the medicine and the work ethic and his rehab efforts. So we'll see with that. Reggie's block punt. How many games do we think Reggie played in the NFL?
Hundreds.
Hundreds of games. And he's got one block punt now, which is I like Reggie anyway. He's very good.
And he still could get 20 before the end of the year.
We ran the ball well, 130 yards. It was a very tough win for us. Captain Morgan's back in town. Anthony Morgan is back in town. He signed the other day. His stock went up when Antonio broke his arm, so he's back in town. He'll fit in our offensive system. He knows the system. He'll fit in there. We're not going to miss a beat with him in here. On the other side, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers need some offensive help. Eric Rett, the running back they held up for 7 or 8 weeks, is back. He only had about 30 yards running. The defense is okay. They did pretty good. They have to wait for 97 now. They're 1-7. They're done for the year. Unless we meet them in the playoffs, Ed.
They're not out of it yet.
Maybe we'll meet them in the playoffs, like you said. We're 1-7-1 and 2 games on ahead of the Minnesota Bike Queens because thank you, the Bear fans, the Bears, and Bounce, and all you the Bear fans out there. That's it. You're not going to win anymore, but thank you for that win. Thank you very much.
All I've been listening to is you bragging about the Bears, and it's like it's a sad day. It's a sad day.
I picked the Bears to win twice this year, and they've won both times. I picked them to win.
Wow.
To beat the Cow Pies and to beat the Bike Queens. So anyway, what do you want to talk about, Ed?
Well, first of all, I'd like to present you with this green and gold pumpkin that I made myself.
Thank you very much. No autograph.
A very special Halloween edition.
A very special Halloween edition we got here tonight.
And
Halloween is Thursday, and maybe this is my Halloween costume, huh? Where's yours? Well, then we got it on already. Never mind. So anyway, it was a very exciting win for us at Lambeau Field this past
I wouldn't
Sunday.
say that. Well,
any win's exciting.
All right.
Any win's exciting for the Green Bay Packers.
I'll tell you what, Tampa Bay definitely one of the best 1-7 teams in the NFL right now.
Yes, they are. There's a little smidgen below the Bears.
I think Tampa Bay would just kill the Bears right now.
Think so? At home or away?
Either way. I mean, it's the Bears.
No, let's get serious.
I mean, it's sick when you're sitting there bragging up the fact that the Bears won, and it's like, what's wrong with this picture? I mean, was this Bear Talk with Green?
No, it's going to be Packer Talk. We're going to talk about the great Packer win. We're 7-1 now.
Look at this flag. Look at this flag. This is a Packer flag made in Chicago, Illinois. I don't care.
There's Packer fans in Chicago, Illinois. But anyway, so it was very nice that we, Lambeau Field, we come out with a win. It was a tough win for us. We lost a player, and it was a physically hard-fought football game, and we come out with a win, a 13-7 win, and we just take it. It's a W is a W, Ed.
That's true. It counts. But it wasn't pretty. I know I'm tired of hearing about that, but it really was a disappointing game, particularly from the offensive side of the ball. Packers really didn't do much. They were fortunate to come up against another team that was even worse offensively than the Packers, and they won. Right?
You know, I'd rather win ugly than win pretty. Isn't that what they say?
That's true. And 7-1 is a heck of a record.
Yes,
and,
it is. We're one of 3 teams. We're one of 3 teams that have 7-1 records.
And probably the best of the 3.
And probably the best of the 3. Washington. And the Broncos.
I think the R is silent in Washington.
Washington, yeah.
But yeah, it's a good time to be a Packer fan. I guess you expect them to go out there, and if you don't beat Tampa Bay by 200 points, it's always somewhat of a disappointment. But you know, it's the Battle of the Bays and all that. You know, exciting.
Exciting. I mean, I like football games at MO Field, and any win to me is exciting because you know we now are on the course of doing very well. You know, I mean, with Coach Holmgren and Ron Wolf and stuff, and Reggie White here and Brett Favre. So we have the talent, the nucleus of a very good football team. It's going to stay that way and only get stronger as years go on. And we're going to be a dominant football team in the NFL.
It certainly appears that way. The Packers have set themselves up with great depth at just about all the positions. When they came into the season, they thought that the one position that they had down pat was receiver, and look what happened. Well, if that's the worst that they see this year in terms of injuries, I think they will go all the way, and there's really no one who can stop them.
You know, they say you win football games in the NFL or championship games with great defense and great quarterback. And we have them
occasional block punt.
And great occasional block punt by the big guy, Reggie White. Wasn't that something? Too bad. Think you would have made it if you would have caught it in the air and stuff?
What was going through the guy's mind?
The punter?
Yeah, I mean, what was he? All of a sudden he decides, let's throw a pass. I mean, doesn't he think that maybe his own teammates should be aware of the plan?
You know, maybe because he had the punt, pass, and kick contest up there, the finalists up there at Lambeau. Maybe he was trying to enter that.
Yeah, well, he
punt it, pass it, or kick it.
He did all 3.
He did all 3 of them.
Well, it's a funny thing because when you decide at the last minute to throw a pass instead of going for the punt, 10, 20, 30 seconds later, Reggie White is going to be right on you.
Yeah.
So you know, it was lucky for him that he escaped alive.
Where do you think that Tony Dungy has to start to make him a good football team? I know he's a new head coach from Minnesota and stuff, and
he's a smart guy.
And where do you think he's got to go to help himself out? You know, they can't play the Bears or the Vikings 16 times. You know.
Well, you know, you speak badly of the Vikings, and
yeah, I do because I don't like them.
The Vikings are.
But anyway,
friends.
they're maybe your friends.
No, they're not going to.
They're not my friends.
They're
not my friends.
They beat the Packers by accident. It wasn't their fault.
I'm not their friends, though.
Okay.
I don't like them.
Well,
but anyway,
it's like you root for the Bears. I mean,
I root for the Bears to beat the Vikings. I root for people that are in my way. I mean, to get people out of my way. Well, basically, I root for all AFC teams. Basically, because we need a clear path to the championship. Any NFC teams in my way, they're going to lose. That's where I go. That's where my Packer blood is in me. But anyway, get back to Tony Dungy. What do you think he's got to do? How about the quarterback? You think Trent Dilfer is going to be the rising star in Tampa?
Well, it's hard to tell. They've got so little to work with in terms of other aspects of their offense. I mean, they really don't have a consistent running game. They don't have any premier receivers. While they do have one, but he's been a total bust for them.
Yeah, Alvin Harvard. What a bust he has been since he came from Dallas, didn't he?
So it's really kind of hard to evaluate the quarterback. I think that he's showing progress, but, you know, when you're 1-7, that isn't a lot of progress. It's unfortunate for Tony Dungy that he has so little to work with because you really got to start pretty much from scratch with that team. Probably solidify the defense. I know they were trying to do that a couple of years ago, and that plan didn't go through either. So if you're Tampa Bay, I guess you're pretty much used to being at the bottom of the NFC Central, and you're keeping your eyes on the Bears just to see if you can get out of the Bears. Yeah.
But okay, as far as the Packers are concerned, you mentioned a while ago that about when camp broke open, we had all depth at wide receiver. We had about 10 guys.
So many receivers, we didn't know what to do with them.
We had
to cut one that we really wanted.
Yes, and
I don't think buy him back.
No, we had to buy him back.
Yeah.
We had to buy him back, and he'll help us, of course. But
I'd say more power to him.
Well, yes,
because it's a game where the players are obviously interested in the money, the financial aspects of the game. But here's a guy who turned down 2 offers to play pro. There were minimum wage offers, but that's still 300 G's a year, and decides to sit down for a better deal, and was prepared to sit out the season and would have, but he got what he wanted. And I think it's
it's becoming to him. I mean, he deserves it.
The guy's going to be a starting wide receiver for a Super Bowl contender. If that isn't worth, $400,000 a year, obviously I'm not worth.
You're not talking about the Buccaneers being a Super Bowl champion contenders.
If Tampa Bay can put together a string of victories,
8 in a row.
yeah, 8 in a row, then they would be 9-7, and they would have an outside chance of making it all the way.
So, yeah. But it's really nice to know that, we got this, I guess the Detroit Lions really got shellacked at home. We're going to talk about Detroit Lions and Wayne Fonz's, his stability.
Wayne Fonz will not be fired
Wayne
this
Fonz is
week.
going to be fired after Sunday's loss at Lambeau against the Packers.
No, Wayne Fonz will not be fired.
Well, the coaches, the players love him, and they stick up for him, and they play hard for him, and all that. That's crapola, baby. He's gone after loss Sunday.
Well, that's the scary thing is that his players really do play for him. And this guy's been on the hot seat since the 40s.
Forever.
And this guy, he is still there. And that shows that when his team has to win, his team does win. If they look at this as a must-win game, nothing's going to be easy for the Packers, especially the way they played last.
Coach Holmgren knows this.
Of course he knows
And the
this.
players know it. Okay, look at the Detroit Lions. They got the great Barry Sanders. I don't think Barry Sanders I think he's only had one 100-yard game this year, so he's not running the ball very well. That means his line blocking's not there. They have lefty Scott Mitchell, who has 3 INTs last week, and the Magic Man. Maybe we'll see the Magic Man coming in.
Cool.
Hey, you said it.
Yeah, great scenario.
Great scenario. Tell us about it.
Oh, Magic and McMahon. And then who do you root for? I mean, if both the backup quarterbacks are there, it would be kind of like I don't know, graduation or something.
But anyway, so they got Scott Mitchell, they got Barry Sanders, they got Herman Moore, and they got...
they got all the big names. They got
some big names. They don't have enough. They got some.
Well, they've shown that when their back's against the wall, they're as dangerous as any team in the NFL, and they showed that last year. And when they get hot, there's no beating them. And, it will take a great team to beat the Lions when they are really functioning the way they're supposed to be.
They had the NFL last year in offense and points and all kinds of things last year, I think.
And have very little to show for it. But they're a talented team. It's a surprise to me that they don't do better than they do. I think Fonz is a good coach. I like Fonz. I don't like the Lions, but I think he's a good coach. But I would be very wary of counting this game in the bank. Whatever happened last week with the Giants is got to be a fluke. I can't imagine the Giants winning anybody, much less by that score and in a dome yet. It's a very unusual
the
game.
Lions are very good in their den.
That's another thing I wanted to bring up. I don't think wild animals like that should be kept indoors all year long. I don't think that's healthy for them.
No, it isn't. It's
I think they need to be outdoors.
Yeah,
they need
take the roof
they
off.
need to, get a chance to run around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Run around. Okay, we're 7-1. 2-game lead over Minnesota. 4-game over. A 3-game lead over the Lions, and 4-game over Detroit, and forever over Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We're looking really good. I guess you have to win these games like last weekend to make a great football team wins games like this. The 49er game 2 weeks ago, or a Monday night game a couple weeks ago, was a very emotional boost, big boost for the Packers and their staff and their fans. And then we got a bye week, and we got kind of fat and sassy, and the Packers are gonna walk all over them 45 to whatever. But I think the players themselves needed this tough win over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to bring them down to earth again. And say, okay, these guys are really bad, and we barely beat these really bad guys.
Well, there's two ways of looking at that, and that's the optimistic way of looking at it, is that this is a wake-up call for any Packer who might think that they're somehow invincible, because they're surely not. The other side of it is that the Packers were relatively lucky to even get away with the win here against a team that is really one of the worst in the NFL, at least in terms of record. So there's two ways of looking at that, and I think the Packers have to step it up. They have to be able to play better than that on a regular basis. They're not going to win those games all the time. But you're right when you say that it is much better to win these games than to lose them, which really does define the difference between a winner and a loser. If you don't win the close games, you're not going to be there at the end because you won't have the record to get there. You won't host the home games. When you're sitting at 7-1, you really can't complain about much.
What do you want, Lenore?
Nothing.
Oh, we got a woman out here watching the show. Ed's friend out there. She wants to
ex-friend.
Ex-friend. But anyway,
she's wearing my Packer T-shirt, and so this is a loaner. And don't
Brett
kid
Favre
me,
gave you-
this
Brett-
is not actually a
Brett Favre gave it to you.
It's like Phil Donahue or
Gillian-
Fabian or somebody.
Fabian, yeah,
It's
Fabian.
not Brett Favre. It's some sort of imposter.
Speaking about Brett Favre,
Could be Bobby Douglas, but it's
Bobby
not Brett
Douglas,
Favre.
the Bear quarterback. The last quarterback to run over 1,000 yards in a season. No, I lost my train of thought. No,
Well, it
no, you
derailed
start another train of thought.
Well, I was going to say that the Lions benched Mitchell, so whatever he was doing was very, very bad. He's far and away has been their starting quarterback for a long time, and whatever he was doing, he was having a terrible day. I didn't see the game. I don't imagine that more than 100 people did, but it'd be interesting if Magic plays. He's got all the incentive in the world to throw touchdowns here.
But I guess
who
that
doesn't,
Scott Mitchell and Fonz had words too. I guess isn't there some disgruntlement in
Nobody likes to be pulled when
Detroit?
you're the starting quarterback because at the very least it hurts your contract negotiations. But it's a serious situation. But who in the heck thought that the Giants were going to beat anybody in a dome by 4 touchdowns? I mean, it's crazy. I'd bench them too. I mean, and as it turns out, neither one of the quarterbacks did very good. So who knows what the Giants threw at them that day? Because the Giants, from what I've seen, they're nothing to be afraid of. You know.
No, this guy here, he's a Jimmy Mack fan.
Well.
And
I like that.
he likes the guy with the headband and the goggles and all that Darth Vader
he
stuff.
Has that look about
But anyway,
him.
he wants him to get in there, don't you? You want him to get in there?
I don't know. I just nobody knows if he can play.
Yeah.
He's got like he hasn't really moved in any quick fashion in years. So he does a lot of sitting and so once in a while stands up. But we don't really know what the deal is on Jimmy Mack. He might be just a decoy. He might be just a decoy. Maybe the teams think, oh, maybe we should get Favre out of the game, and then be Jimmy Mack. Well, maybe that's just a decoy. I don't know.
I'll bring up I'll get back to the beginning in a second. About them 2 trick plays. We had that option thing. We had that flea flicker. I was almost in shock when I seen Coach Holmgren do them 2 plays. I couldn't believe it. I had a double take on it. And he just overthrew them one. They overthrew them a little bit, and they won in the end zone thing.
That's weird. And every once in a while, you'll see Holmgren make some call straight out of the twilight zone. But I think you need to do that. I think that he thinks that he needs to mix it up. It's odd that you would do that against Tampa Bay, but I guess if you never do it, they'd never expect it. Yeah, it was surprising. I'm sure it was surprising to most of the Packers that they did that.
In that 4th and short thing,
that was weird.
4th and 2, and we didn't get that down there. Maybe at field goal range, maybe we could have got a field goal there.
I think that I honestly think what it is that there's so much anticipation for these games that you want to make something happen, and these are not logical calls all the time. But the Holmgren, he seems like he wants to stir the pot. He wants something that he gets frustrated when the team doesn't move.
Right.
And that he tries to make things happen, and maybe to some degree that that's something to worry about, because it seems like when somebody holds our offense down long enough, Holmgren will do something. And lately, and I think it's exciting, and so far it hasn't cost us. But there's been a couple calls there where it could have, and we've been fortunate. And you need to be a little bit lucky if you're going to be 7-1, because
I'd rather be lucky and good. Well, they're good. Packers are a great football team, and luck comes in once in a while.
They didn't look like a great football team.
Well, no, they didn't actually look like a great football team this past
like
Sunday,
mediocre football team.
They're a good enough team. I guess you got to be the best team in the stadium that day.
Well, theoretically,
and we were the best team in that stadium that day.
Your goal is to win enough games to make the playoffs go through your town. Right now, the Packers have done that, or at least for the first half of the season, they're the ones sitting on top. So you can even lose a game that you're supposed to win, but you can't lose the majority of those close games. There's going to be a lot of close games, and you don't want to be having close games against teams like Tampa Bay.
I guess Tampa Bay, no, you don't want to do that.
Yeah, I think it is scary. I think it is a wake-up call. I don't think anybody is taking the Lions for granted, and if they do, the Lions have the ability to come in here and just really take anybody apart, I think. I think they've got enough talent. It's a question of which team shows up for them. Because
well, first of all, they're not going to run against us.
It doesn't look like it. They haven't been able to.
No, they haven't been running, and then Barry Sanders was a couple years ago in the playoffs. Barry Sanders didn't do anything, so well, they don't really run against our team. Big Gilbert Brown, Santana Dotson, Reggie White.
Has Gilbert Brown been working out? Man, he looks trim.
He's going to be the one that jumps in the stands next.
You think so?
Yeah.
That'd be a lot of dead fans.
A lot of dead fans. But anyway, so they're not running on us and they're not passing on us, and we got a very good defense. We got the #1 defense in the NFL, and we're going to stay that way this week again.
And I think Reggie White leads the league in punt blocks this year.
For his
Probably
age.
tied
For his age.
Tied with about 9 other guys.
For his age.
Yeah.
And I guess Reggie was in Fond du Lac last night doing some book autograph signing stuff.
Yeah, he's out selling some product. I guess his new line of designer, kids designer, I don't know.
Yeah, I guess they had a contest in Fond du Lac about designer for clothes and stuff. So.
And there was Reggie.
Yep.
I guess they packed them all. First time anybody's ever been.
Yeah, 20. Yeah, first time anybody's been in Fond du Lac Mall down there, Forest Mall. But anyway, no.
They got a mall like ours. Well, never mind.
Our mall, yeah.
Well, anyway.
Like Martin Mall.
Yeah, kind of.
What do you think of our special Halloween doings tonight here, Ed? You got a pumpkin patches here, and you got this guy in a pumpkin here.
The old-fashioned pumpkin with a cord. And
yeah,
this
don't
is
work.
one of the new cordless models. It's
cordless model.
not working right now, but
no.
I think it's...
What's it no?
Yeah,
careful, everybody.
Those American-made pumpkins.
American-made pumpkins. So, but fortunately, we didn't have, one thing about the Packers...
This is Wayne Fonts on the hot seat.
On the hot seat, yes.
Oh, okay.
So, this week now, so far the Packers have been a healthy defensive team.
Yeah, but the Lions can scratch your eyes out.
Most of our injuries have been coming on the offensive side of the ball. And a very important part of our ball team right now is the defense, and they're staying healthy. No injuries to Reggie and Roy Butler or Eugene or Newsome or anybody. Our defense, so it's really important. Their defense stays healthy now.
The bye came at about the best time imaginable for the Packers, and like at the beginning, it's ironic. At the beginning of the season, we had so many receivers. If that's the worst of our problems right now, we're sitting pretty good because we do have a bona fide running game. We do have two of the very best tight ends in football right now, and a bunch of pretty good receivers. And so there's enough weapons there that it takes a lot of the pressure off of a deficiency at wide receiver, and we do have one.
Right.
I don't think BB was ever designed to be a flanker. I mean, to be your lead go-to guy. Yeah. He had the best game of his life, but you notice from his moves and everything that he does not have, the type of, the moves
he's just the guy that goes on and gets his hands on the ball and catches the ball.
He's fast enough, he's scrappy.
Gets the hands on the ball and catches it.
Yeah, and to a certain extent I think that was probably true because they didn't protect him enough, or they didn't go after him enough, they didn't take him seriously enough, and as a result, Favre just kept on
speaking of catching the ball, the Packers have been dropped some balls again this past week.
And we're going to see that happen for several weeks.
What seems to be the formula for trying to catch out of them balls? I mean, it seems that...
Well, Favre does throw hard.
Yeah.
He does throw hard, but really it's just a lack of talent, I think, and concentration.
Concentration, not talent.
Well, you're paid to catch the ball. If you don't catch the ball, you're out of a job.
Yeah.
Fortunately, you can drop a couple in Green Bay and still win the game. But that's not going to be true when we start playing some of the better teams. And there
ain't no better teams ahead of us.
Well, better teams than the one we played last week, anyway. The Packers, let's face it, they do not have a premier receiving core. They will not have a premier receiving core at the end of the season. They'll have to do it through balance. Both sides of the ball, they have the best defensive football. They have a multiple weapon offense, and it takes a lot of the pressure off of having to hit the wide receivers all the time. Obviously, we're going to see more tight end sets, but everybody expects that, and they've already adjusted it for it. And
but they can't cover two tight ends, and I think like you said, the Packers have too much talent for the normal defense of the NFL, and the defense of the NFL, the other teams don't figure out how to stop our offense. They're in trouble. They're in for a long day.
Well, there's a couple of things
we have all kinds of weapons and use them in different variables, and we're using them to our Coach Holmgren uses them to the maximum, and they're very effective.
I think that if you're going through a mid-season drought, like I think the Packers are right now, and you can win these games, that's really the best you can hope for. You can't stay on top of your game for 16 weeks and then peak in the playoffs. It's just not possible. So if the Packers have lost a step right now, I think they're getting stronger again, and I think they'll get it back when it really counts, which is about in 3 or 4 weeks when it's real crunch time.
When you go on the road again.
Mm-hmm.
at this homestand.
Because then when it gets down to those last 3 games of the season, those are the ones that you absolutely must win. There's no way that the Green Bay is going to come in with a 3-game lead over every other team in the NFC. You know, it's just not possible. If this is the worst the Packers play, the Packers are a great team. If this is indicative of
things that come, is not indicative of
right, and there are some things that could go wrong with the Packers. One thing is, although we have pretty good numbers as a running game, we do not have a dominant runner.
No.
And
you don't have to have a dominant. We talk about this all the time, Ed. You don't need a guy that runs 1,500, 1,600, 1,700 yards a year. You get a guy that runs 700. You get a guy that runs 800. You get a guy that runs 500. Spread the ball around offensively, running the ball. Spread the ball around offensively, catching the ball at tight ends, wide out. Get 8 or 9 guys involved catching the ball, and 2 or 3 guys running the ball. William Henderson blocking it. Dorsey Evans can catch the ball out of the backfield, blocking for Edgar. And Travis Jervey. I wish Travis Jervey could get his so-called speed on the run and get through these cracks and goal. You know?
Well, that guy's green. And
thank you.
Well,
I love it. It's green.
that's not a
love it.
compliment. Not in this case, anyway. He's going to need some polish. I mean, he's not there yet. It's possible that that he could mature, and that a lot of these players will mature as the season goes on. But let's face it, even Antonio Freeman was never really came into the season as an established wide receiver starter.
Yeah, right.
So right now he was our lead, and we lost him. Now we're going deep into the bucket to get receivers.
Speaking about getting deep into the bucket, how about Kenny Rutgers showed up this Sunday for a while and played a little bit? He did okay.
I guess he did okay. I mean, you know, I don't know what to say. I mean, this has been such a long anticipated arrival for Ken Rutgers. You know, I think it's only good for the Packers, but he was expected a while back. So it's good that he's back. I don't think that his presence is a dominant.
He's heady, smart. He's been around the ballpark.
I think he's a good asset in terms of depth. I don't think he's the marquee player that he was. And anyways,
hi.
That was my ex-friend Lenore.
So we're gonna pick a score for this week. The Lions are coming to Lambeau Field, noon game again, and we're gonna be 8-1. Of course, Wayne Fontes is gonna lose his job after this week.
Wayne Fontes will not lose his job.
Okay, you go ahead.
Because I'll tell you what, the Lions, whether they win or lose, are gonna make it very tough. Because the Lions have a reputation for.
They can't win at home. They can only win They can only win in the dome, Ed. They're not going to win on grass outside at Lambeau Field. Nobody's going to beat us at Lambeau Field.
Didn't they whack somebody last year on the road? Wasn't it Philly or somebody, or was it the other way around?
Phil waxed them 55 to something.
Well,
what's the score going to be, Mr. Ed?
20-17.
See, he's close. I'm saying 27-10 Packers.
I want a game that will be interesting.
I don't want any game. I don't like
close
games. I don't like close games. I like the Packers to swamp them.
Well,
Barry Sanders is not going to get no 100 yards. Scott Mitchell and Domikowski are both going to be playing. They're going to have a tough time against Reggie and stuff. We're going to be 8-1 before we go on the road. Detroit, Wayne Fontes is going to lose his job, like I said before.
Wayne Fontes is not going to lose his job.
We're going to maintain a 2-game lead over everybody in our division, and we're going to take it from there.
Do you think that Wayne Fontes deserves to lose his job?
He has not produced a winner, has he?
Well, either did Bart Starr. Do you think he
did lose his job?
Yeah, well.
But anyway, so so they're not producing for him. And who gets let go? Not the players don't get let go. The head coaches get let go.
It'd be a better financial move to lay off the.
But we got to say goodbye to Wayne Fontes. See you, Wayne. See you. Hope you get a job somewhere. Maybe you can help Tony Dungy or something.
Wayne's World.
But anyway, so we got to get going here, and thanks again for my sponsors, the Pizza Joint and the Coke Joint and the video place. We got a wrap. So PACKERS 27-10, 8-1. Green Bay Sunday noon. Be there or be square. Bye. Love you all. Peace.
Pick up.